Boniface Mudomi, Director Legal Services. David Gudaga, Director Procedures and Committee Services.
Daisy Mukami, Clerk to the committee.
So you're welcome. Now you know the people you are with, and you'll start us off by taking us through the questionnaire that you filled at the county assembly. I don't know whether you have a copy. You have a copy. Good. And I must inform this committee that Mr. Jamal was my teacher. At some point, he taught me geography at Moi High School, Biruri. And I haven't seen that somewhere in your documents. I expected to see that you taught at Moi High School, Biruri, before you came. So
That was part of the degree program.
Okay.
I did not teach.
Okay. It was teaching practice.
Yeah, it was teaching practice.
Okay, good. So proceed, take us through the questionnaire, and then we shall proceed from there.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Jamal Abdi Runyenje. I applied for the position of CCM for Trade, Tourism, and Industrial Development. I am a man. I was born in 1972 in Pumwani Maternity Hospital in Nairobi on the 28th of March. I am married. My mobile number is 0728072305 and my Airtel line is 0738972305. My email address is jamauto72@yahoo.com. My ID number is 11022847. My PIN is A002286665C. I am a Kenyan. My postal address is 278. 6103 is a code, and Runyenje. I speak English, Kiswahili, and Embaragia Embu. In education, I was at Kenyatta University studying Bachelor of Education Arts from 1990 to 1994. I got second class honors, lower division. In 1988 and 1989, I was in Kangaroo School for my A-levels, where I got 3 principals and 1 pass. In 1984 to 1987, I was in Chicago Boys High School. I got a Division 3 of 34 points. From 1977 to 1983, I was in St. Michael Primary School, where I was in the last CPE class of the previous system. I have never been employed. I've always been self-employed. As a CEO and director of Jamal's Auto Hardware. I'm a founder chairman of the Focus Realtors Group. I'm also a patron of For Real Healthcare. Most of them are in the group. I also chair the Runyenje Women Trust Fund since inception. I am a director and chairman of Valid Consulting that we started just recently. I also am a director and sub-county chair of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and DEB as a treasurer. I was awarded a Sales Excellence Award by Chloride and Exide from Professional Associations number 18. I said I'm a coordinator of SPEDVAC and SPEDVAC. It's a professional body. I'm also a full member of the Kenya Institute of Management. And as I said earlier again, I'm a director and the chair, Runyenje Sub-County of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. On membership, a list of professional bodies. I'm also one founder of the Focus Realtor CBO that does a lot of community work. Our slogan is Compassionate Hearts. I have participated in publishing of strategic plans for the Focus Realtors Group and the Runyenje Women Trust Fund. I recently was in the Governor's Task Force where we published a report and presented to her on, again, the Embu Integrated Solid Waste Management Plan I chaired, and it was published by the GIZ. And recently I helped do a strategy for real healthcare. On public offices, Chair, I think I misread the question when I was filling the form. I have, as listed, been a director at Tana Service Board, which is a public institution. On the party, I was I'm still a life member of the UDA party. I had to be a life member so that I could be able to help in the filling of the forms for a gubernatorial candidate. I was also the Embu County Chief Agent for the presidential campaign. I was also in the Governor's Secretariat during the 2022 elections. I have now been dismissed. Again, even the other question is not applicable. They have never been adversely mentioned. On my income on deferred, I expect some dividends from investments, approximately 900,000. Outside the commitments, if I get the job, I would continue offering my advisory services at the Focus Realtors Group. My sources of income, I have various investments where I get about, I expect about 850. From the private sector, some of these figures are not very static. From my engagements, I also get some allowances, about 360,000. From the proceeds of the shop after deductions, I get a net of about 504,000. And from other investments, the farm and hizo zingine about 300,000. So my income is about 2 million. I am fully compliant with the tax authorities. I have estimated or really computed my net worth at about 54 million and a half. I had put 54,450, but there's a small variance when I did the calculations, about 100,000 variance, because some of the shares prices move. I have done a list of all my investments up to and including the M-Pesa balance that I hold. I have no potential conflict of interest, and if there is any, I will follow all the relevant laws and regulations. On pro bono work, I have helped mobilize to pay school fees for bright and needy students through our Focus Realtors CBO, and some of the students are already in the university. Very soon will be productive members of the public. I also offer volunteer leadership and integrity trainings for our youth and upcoming leaders. I have never been charged in the last 3 years, or rather not in the near past. The only offense that I've ever been charged with is a traffic offense that I was let off with a fine many years ago when I used to drive. I have never been adversely mentioned because really I've never been anywhere near what the wrongs that are done. I have, again, no issue if you want to seek reference from my referees, because I've never had an employer. I have listed my referees, Dr. Peter Ndega, CEO of Knowledge Resource Center, East Africa. His telephone number is 0722601993. There's also Mr. Tom Macheneri, who's a Deputy County Commissioner, 0724270254, and Mr. Robert Njoe, the Chair Winner Circle, 0706148161. Thank you. I have tried to be very brief and very fast, Mr. Chair.
Okay, very well. Now we shall go to the set of questions. Hope you have a place to, you have a pen and paper that you can note them down. We shall do a round of questions, which you'll reply to, then conclude. I'll start with the Honorable Swale, the Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Jamal, I would wish to raise the following questions. Number one, I have four questions for you. If you look at page, that is bulletin 16, which on the employment record, it clearly shows that you've never been employed. So it's this, if you are lucky to get this position, it means this is the first time you are going to be employed. Please convince the committee that a person who has held all these positions as a leader would be able to be subjected to scrutiny of the assembly and will be able to work under supervision, since it seems like most of these positions that you've ever held, it is you who has been the chair. So it means you've been supervising. You've never been supervised. Please convince this committee that you'll be able to work under supervision and being oversighted by the assembly. Question number 2, bulletin 21, public office, political activities and affiliation. You have clearly indicated that you are a life member of UDA party. As per the statutes, it is illegal for a public officer to be a member of a political party or affiliated to political parties. Please explain what you're going to do if you get to be lucky to hold that position, because already you are a life member. Question number 3. The experience, the appointments and appointment acts clearly indicates that for one to qualify for the position of the CEC must have experience in that line for at least 5 years. Please again explain whether you qualify for the position that you are seeking as the nominee for trade. The last question is, if given this position, how will you navigate in terms of your position and the relationship between the CEC trade and the County Assembly of Embu? And the last and not least, a yes and no answer. Are you corrupt or not? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Allow me to have only 3 questions for the nominee, because some of them Honorable Swale has really put them across. Mr. Jamal, on paragraph 26 of your questionnaire, or rather number 26 of the questions, number 26, or rather paragraph 26 on your questionnaire, you have stated that your net worth is 54,450,000, but you have not told us where you derived that figure from. Could you kindly tell us what is this that brings you to that figure? Because when looking at some of your your engagements in the private sector, and looking at you, I suspect you could be either 3 times that or more, your net worth. Number 2, Mr. Jamal, you intend, if this committee approves and the assembly your nomination, you intend to be the CEC in charge of trade and tourism, right? What are some of the issues that you will address in that department? Number 2, now that you do not have any experience in any government service, are you conversant with any of the laws that you are required to implement in that department? Because government work is about legislation and implementation of the law. So now, and you in the executive, you're required to implement laws and policies. Are you aware, are you conversant with any of the laws that are required to be implemented in that docket that you so aspire?
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Jamal, how are you? I have 4 or so questions. The first question is that looking at the questionnaire you filled, you seem to be a very busy man. And now that you are applying, you've applied for you've been nominated for the position of the CEC. Will you be able to really put all your energies over the same now that this docket is so involving? Will you find time for the same? Question number 2, it's about I would like to know whether you are conversant with what is expected of you on the CEC, in matters the CEC trade. And if so, what are your objectives, both short-term and long-term? What do you want to achieve by the end of it all? I would like to know what difference you want to, you're intending to put in this sector. Number 3, what are you intending to do over the double licensing, especially in the bars, because there have been complaints over the same? And lastly, now that you are now from politics, and by the look of things, you are a very key person in the political field, especially in the UDA Secretariat. I would like to know whether you will not have conflict of interest when maybe someone who was in your team maybe does something wrong, or maybe you have a relative who wants something. I want to know if you get to that point where now you will have to have the conflict of interest, how will you go about it? Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Jamal. I would like to ask you a few questions as we proceed. Okay, on tourism, what plan do you have for Moyang Game Reserve and the other attractive areas? Number 2,
We have a village has 10 bars or more than that. How are you going to regulate the license of those bars? We have license. For instance, we have a village where we have 10 bars, and it is our concern they are being given license for to operate. How are you going to minimize on license those village bars? Thank you.
Thank you. Two questions. One, how do we intend to promote trade and tourism in Embu County? Okay, I was asking how we will handle the issue of bars in the villages. If you can answer that. Now you are a businessman. Will you be paying the license and permit the county government of Embu?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jamal. Trade and tourism docket is a bit sensitive docket, whereby we expect a lot in terms of revenue. I don't know how you are prepared to improve the revenue collection from the docket, knowing very well that the county is in dire need of finances. Number two, there has always been complaints from the business people that some of them are being overtaxed, some of them are being over-licensed, and some of them that feel that they are not comfortable paying so many licenses under one roof. I don't know how you are able to deal with that. Number three, we have business people in sometimes who complain that they are getting licensed in towns whereby we have a lot of gambling, and the county government is not able to do enough to collect the garbage and maybe improve on their businesses. I don't know what plans you have in place to correct that. Thank you.
I also want to have a read on the licenses issue. I've received some memos and I've even visited shops whereby there is rampant corruption in the licensing department, which falls squarely under you, whereby you find that shopkeepers are paying licenses, but they have not been given the permits, or some overpay, yet they are given a license of another value. So I think I would like to hear your reactions to that. I know you can also ride it with the revenue collection. On the other thing, on tourism, I've seen that having been a member, not only a member, but also the secretariat for the current governor, around tourism, there was a very big proposal around Irangi Forest as the shortest route to Mount Kenya Peak. So probably if you're approved for this position, maybe I would also like to hear your sentiments on the same around the overall tourism sector. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have 3 questions for you, Mr. Jamal. One, you know very well, Embu county is on the slopes of Mount Kenya, whereby we can have tourism industry. Do you see Embu as a tourist destination? Number two, do you have experience in a similar docket? And if yes, what are your achievements, policies that can be integrated in our county? Number three, in Mbeere South, we have Kianjiro Hill, whereby you can access the internet all over the world. My question is, what are your plans to make sure that that hill will be the tourist attraction?
So I'll have around 5 questions for you. Question number 1. In your ESCC form, you've indicated that you don't foresee any potential conflict of interest. But we know you are an established businessman and trader in Runyenje. And here, you'll be in charge of trade. How will you regulate yourself as a CEC? You've indicated in the form that you don't foresee any potential conflict of interest. However, you are an established businessman in Runyenje. And here you will be in charge of trade. How will you regulate yourself as a trader? Question number 2. You are a Muslim. And we know the Muslim faith or religion has some very strong opposition to the liquor, drinking of beer. Now, how will you associate with the liquor industry? Ama utasema baa zote zifungwe Embu. Question number 3. Under trade, there's a department called weights and measures. The one that does the calibration of equipment. I think you know the department. All of us know weights and measures as a guarantee of consumer protection. That department is currently dead. How do you intend to revive it? Question number 4. Under trade, again, there is a micro credit scheme called the Joint Loan Board, which is again dead. How do you intend to revive it? Question number 6. I'm good. Oh, it's question number 5 now. Okay. Now, we have seen a lot of hookers in Embu town, and in most instances, every evening, they shift to the Embu Kiritiri road, thereby causing a lot of traffic jams, and even occupy all parking slots. So anyone going to any supermarket around there has nowhere to park his or her vehicle. How do you intend to regulate hawkers in Embu town, especially along the area I've mentioned? And the final question is, we have a lot of mushrooming sheds encroaching on road reserves and public areas, again within Embu town. how do you propose to regulate these structures? What is your proposal towards the regulation of these structures? Thank you. Yes, you can answer now.
Thank you for the questions. I will start with the first question, whether I am able to be supervised. I am a leader, yes, and a leader, for you to continue getting leadership positions, there must be some level of accountability. So I am supervised by the people I serve in the circle and in the fund. We periodically report to them, and since they are satisfied with the leadership, then we are given fresh mandate to continue. So when I am offered this position, I will be ready at any time to offer myself for scrutiny, because I always operate above board. On my life membership of UDA party, I want to state here clearly that with the onset of technology, leaving a political party is as easy as lifting a WhatsApp group through the ORPP platform. So when offered the position, I will abide by the law and left as prescribed. On experience, I have a lot of experience. I have employed myself for the last 28 years. And since I am here, it means that I have been faithful to myself as an employer. So I am offering that experience to my mother county so that I am able to serve them going forward. How will I navigate on the county assembly and my position in the executive? I, Jamal Runyenje, has always been a team player. I consult very widely, and I have experienced that maybe in the past there has been very minimal and a lot of conflict between the executive and the assembly. I promise that that will be a thing of the past, especially as regards to my docket, because I know with trade, and because there are centers in every ward, I must be friendly with all the MCS so that I also help them accomplish on their pledges and their campaign promises in their localities. So I will work with MCS individually and also with the assembly collectively. I am not corrupt, but I have never defended myself against any allegations, because I believe we are a country of laws, and anybody who alleges or who thinks that you might be, or it's necessary for you to be scrutinized, you will be reported to the established institutions. I have experience, and I like the way our president handled allegations of corruption, and he did not respond, because many times the answer, even for those who are corrupt, the answer is still no. So when you are asked whether you are corrupt or not, I believe it is not what you say that is important, but it is the actions behind what you have said and behind the person. On explaining my net worth, I have computed as at today, the chair, as at yesterday, some of these figures continuously vary, especially if you are an investor and a serial investor as wide as I am. Because like for example, those of you who have invested in the NSC, you know that the market has been very turbulent, and most of the stocks currently are undervalued, and that now makes the net worth come down. When and if and when the economy improves, I can assure you that these figures will go up. On what issues I want to address as a CEC nominee, and when and if confirmed, I have a lot on trade. Trade, tourism, and industrial development is among the only two producer departments that we have as a county government. So if the assembly and the executive have to deliver on their mandate to our people, then we must improve on trade, because it is only on trade where we get revenue that is able to sustain our plans as a county from the on-source revenue. On tourism, I have quite a number of questions on tourism, but I want to say that we have big plans for tourism sector in this country. I am privileged, as somebody said. I have worked with our governor for a long time. She was Assistant Minister for Tourism for 5 years. And some of the pledges and programs that she promised during the campaigns, I know were mooted during her tenure at the Tourism Ministry. We have also a lot of plans on industrial development, and Mheshimiwa, through the chair, asked whether I am conversant with the laws that regulate this docket. I am a stickler for law. I have a lot of passion for the law. I have read the Constitution of Kenya 2010. I know of the numerous county legislative that regulate the trade department. I have already perused the Tourism Act, and I have information that the legislations were not done. If confirmed, I will, as a matter of priority, put forward the regulations for tourism. On industry, again, a lot can be done. And through the executive and the line departments, the other producer department is a Department of Agriculture, where we will work together and closely with the CEC Agriculture and make sure that we are able to deliver on the pledge of our governor of adding value to our produce. Because a lot of our produce is going to waste, especially on the lower parts. Sometimes it is very, very sad when our farmers have worked very hard throughout the year, and their harvest goes to waste just because of poor storage, and just because we are unable to extract and store properly those products. I have also gone through the Alcoholics Control Bill, and if we follow that law, we will not have a lot of problems in the execution of the mandate. Honorable Yvonne asked whether I am a very busy man. I have never prayed to be idle. But as our president says, mwanaume ni kujipanga. So if and when issued this, I have many people I have mentored across my leadership journey, and I am confident they are able to do even better what I have been doing. Whether I'm conversant with the laws again, Yes. And I have short-term objectives, and one is bringing, with the support of the assembly and reading the laws correctly, bringing our people together and let us agree that we are going to follow the law as we trade, so that all those businesses that are being done adhere to our county laws and to the national laws. I have long-term objectives. In the next 5 years, we should have an operational Embu Industrial Park. We should also have the investment corporation for our county up and running. This I am confident I will be able to do because I have started institutions from scratch, and they have grown to hundreds of millions. So starting an investment corporation for the county will be very, very easy for me, with the support of our leaders in the county. On the double licensing, again, this will go back to the assembly so that we are able to condense those licenses. Having come from the private sector, I have experience where traders sometimes are handled like criminals because of sometimes just basically not understanding the law. When you have complied with one office and another office that you are not even sure or you're not able to comply. So with my fellow business people, I will put them together. We will read the law together. We will propose changes, especially on the licensing. And on this, I have even said at one point, through the county legislation, we can come up with even a model like the Huduma, where you have all the licenses in one place, so that if you are going to present applications, you present them to one office, so that if it's the health departments who wants to verify, they are there. If it is, we have never operated like enemies. We have just operated like different teams on different sides with different ideologies. So when we come together and form government, it would be counterproductive for us to bring our baggage of which political side we came from, because we will be here to serve our people of Embu and Kenya in general. So I don't subscribe to the school of thought that carries antagonistic campaign strategies. For those of you who we have worked together in the field, know that I have a lot of respect even for our opponents, because it is purely their democratic right to subscribe to the schools of thought that they think. On the plan I have for Mwea Game Reserve, wow, this is now one of the game changers in our tourism sector. It is very, very sad that a lot of work has been done on this, but no amount of fruits have ever been realized so far. I intend in my regime to operationalize and bring back Mwea Game Reserve to our county as an asset, because currently it is being run by KWS, and some work had been done on bringing it back as a county asset. But for us to be able to make and break even, we need to put some resources and also do a lot of marketing so that it is able to finance itself. We again can have a format for even caging some of the animals, so that even our schools can go there to learn about our animals, so that they don't have to go outside and take money outside the county, whereas we have a resource there that we can use and capitalize on it to make sure that we generate our own source revenue from that facility. How will I regulate the licensing of bars? And how do we minimize them? It is very unfortunate that we are a country of laws and we are a county of laws. We have laws that we do not follow. Our laws are very clear on licensing of bars. So I know in the past there has been a lot of conflict and very many interested parties on and as regards the licensing of bars. This I intend through the department to just stick to the law so that we read our laws correctly and license whoever qualifies to be licensed, and sometimes even close the ones that were licensed illegally and are counterproductive to our communities. On how do I intend to promote trade and tourism, I have said a lot on that so far, and still we can on tourism, for example, I was talking to my counterpart nominee on health and telling him that he works hard and operationalizes the level 5. We could even get a lot of medical tourists who come, and they will come to and patronize our facilities in our town, because we have very many hotels that have a quite low bed occupancy because not much attracts them here. We could again improve on our presence on the Mount Kenya tourism circuit, because the Rakanithi here gets a lot of money from the Mount Kenya circuit because of their gateway to Mount Kenya. And to answer Mheshimiwa Mariama on the Irangi route, that is in our governor's manifesto. And I will purpose to actualize that dream because it will bring a lot of revenue to our county. When people go up Mount Kenya through Embu, we will have short-circuited quite an amount that goes to our neighboring county. Whether I will pay a license for my business, I have a PWD certificate. So on the business that is directly in my name, I have some waiver. But on the other businesses, I have always paid my licenses and my rates because I am a leader who believes in leading from the front. I have no intention whatsoever to waive any license for myself or for my brethren. On revenue collection, again, I am privileged to have been in the governor's task force. And you bear me witness that in the 2 months that we have been there, we have managed to seal some gaps and triple the revenue collection. So when I am confirmed in this docket, my first task will be to map up and register all businesses. We have technology that works for us now, so that when and if your license falls short, you will get notification so that you are able to reapply for the business next year. And for those who intend to come and put up new businesses, we will have a database that we will continue registering, and that registration will be continuous. We will be keeping tabs of how many businesses that we have registered. We will be reporting continuously to all the relevant bodies so that we are also able to use data and leverage on the data to put correctly our projections for revenue collection and for also making it easy for the budgeting process. On the complaints of business people over taxation, again I said here I think we should do things differently. I know I am coming from the private sector, but this might be just the medicine you needed, because many times people have been bringing in technocrats, people with PhDs, but they cannot even run a kiosk. So I have experience in this field, and I will tell you for sure, and even advise correctly on how we are able to license those businesses, and even how much license is realistic for some of these businesses. Because what maybe sometimes brings corruption is when you have unrealistic licenses for businesses, so that when people are offered a short way out, they compromise and go that route. But when we have agreed and participated together in the formulation of some of these policies, it is my humble submission that they will take ownership of the process and even are happy to facilitate our government to provide a better and conducive environment for them. On the complaints again, on garbage collection, as I said in one of the published reports, I was privileged enough to chair the planning for our waste management for this county for the next 10 years. I can assure you, if we actualize that plan, we will have sorted out that mess of the garbage. Again, from the task force, you have seen what we have able to actualize in that 2 months. Just yesterday, areas in this town where you could not even stand because of the stench now are clean. So if we are facilitated and if we are empowered, I am sure we are able to sustain that program. My discipline has always been on sustainability. I am not somebody who does things for cosmetics. I do things because it is the right thing to do, and I'm always very consistent in whatever I purpose to do. So I will assure you, we will have clean towns, we will have order, just like the law stipulates. On language, my mother is Somali, but I was not able to learn a lot of Somali, especially the spoken. But when you speak, I will understand. On rampant corruption in the licensing department, this is an open secret that we have been on autopilot, and it was every man for himself and God for us all. So in the previous time, some even of our staff were corrupt for lack of anything better to do. Because if it is rotting from the head, then you understand where they're coming from. Some of us were even telling us, sasa hata ukiokota ukipeleka itakuliwa, si afadhali ukule. So this will change because they can also see a shift in the intention of the current regime, and I am convinced that it is something that was happening, but we will have the privilege of changing it slowly by slowly, because again, some people don't change. Statistics reveal that 95% of the people would rather die than change. So for those who would rather die than change, we will have to maybe relocate them to where they have no access to or an opportunity to be compromised. So the other question was whether I have a relevant experience for this docket. When I was applying for CEC trade, I was cognizant of the fact that that is just one docket, and qualification for that docket, and in the interest of the governor, might mean that sometimes reshuffles are done. So I believe the qualifications necessary should be equal to managing any other docket that the appointing authority feels you are needed to put your input. And because it is management, and policy formulation, I am up to the task, and I have done it. I said I have 28 years of experience, and I am sure that I am able to deliver. On the planetarium at Kianjiro again, that is another darling project for our governor. She went around promising that that project will be actualized. I have looked at the feasibility, and with some resources, we are able to attract a lot of tourists, because when you have a position that is unique for your county in the entire globe, then it is something that you must capitalize on and make sure that it is monetized and it brings money to you as a county. So, do I foresee any conflict of interest? This I will answer with the previous question, whether I'm corrupt or not. I want to confirm and confess here that I have never done business with the government, either national or county. I have my reasons, because when you're in business and you want to operate above board, unless things change or unless we change things, it is almost impossible to do business with the county government or the national government and maintain your integrity at the same time. So we need to change and give a complete mind shift of why are our processes very, very hard for people who want to maintain their integrity. So again, I don't intend to do business with the government if and when I am confirmed to this position. I wish to maintain my boundaries so that I don't have any room for compromise. On my religion versus the industry that I will oversee, I said we are a country of laws, and we will read the law and follow it to the letter. That is my submission on that. On the weights and measures department, currently is dead, but having been in the task force, I cannot say it is not yet dead. It could be not even in the ICU, but maybe in the HDU. So it needs just some work. And again, if we are going to have businesses that have integrity, we have to empower our weights and measures so that we build confidence from our traders and their customers. On microcredit, I have a lot of experience. I have built institutions from scratch on credit and microcredit. And when and if our president actualizes his Hustler Fund dream, I believe it's going to be channeled through that fund. So it's going to be just the right medicine that we need to bring that institution from ICU. How do I deal with hawkers who shift to Embu and Keretire Road? I have a lot of faith in the current MCA for Keremare Ward. So I know I will work with him. He is a man who likes order. And when we bring our heads together through the various agencies and also in partnership with those traders, because they have a stake and they need to be convinced why we need to have law and order so that we create a conducive environment for everybody to be happy in this county. A lot of mushrooming sheds, again, this goes back to the every man for himself and God for us all theory. Because I believe when order is restored, because what we have is just some lack of order. When order is restored, some of these problems will be a thing of the past. I believe I have answered all the questions that were raised to me, and I am willing and able to take more. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Jamal. At this juncture, is there anyone with further question? Yes. Just get the mic.
Just one in connection to the Moya National Game Reserve. That you said that you have plans to develop it. I just want to hear from you whether you're aware that there is already an impeding conflict between the reserve and the community living around it that is surrounding on ownership. That there are people who live around it, including Makema town itself, and people as far as Ngesha village, whom came to realize just the other day through some conflict that was introduced, they're being told that they're living on that reserve land, yet they have documents from government. And are you aware that when that conflict came up, some rogue government officers went ahead and deleted some of those plots from the original map in at the survey department here? And if you're aware or not aware, now that I've made you aware, what are you likely to do to ensure that that conflict does not continue?
Thank you, Chair. On the Moya Game Reserve, as I said, is a resource that needs to be very well utilized by our county, so that we can be able to monetize its processes. On the issue of land, I am fully aware that land is a very emotive issue, and every time land matters are involved, it is very, very important that all stakeholders are brought on board so that you can create a win-win situation for the community. I also subscribe to the school of thought that starts from the known to the unknown. So from where we have the KWS managing currently, I have information that they had even gone a step further and started doing a transition plan with the county government that was never followed up. So I will start from there and bring in the community, because again, why are we looking for resources and why are we looking for riches for our county? It is because of our people. So if there is a conflict between the people and the reserve, we will look for a win-win situation and how these communities are able to integrate with the plans so that they have ownership of the process. So if it is, again, when we sit together and agree who goes where and why, and follow the agreements, then I don't think that it will be very, very hard. I know many times people have failed to resolve conflict because of taking hard positions. So I am a negotiator, and I will work with everybody on board so that at the end of the day, we come up with a program that will be beneficial to each and every one of us in the county. That facility, I can tell you for sure, is able to generate resources to run itself and submit some of that revenue to our county government to empower our local communities. I think I have answered the question. Thank you, sir.
I think that's the end. That marks the end of our engagement. Just to inform you that we have the Embu County Investment Corporation in place. It is it's only that it is moribund. Maybe you need to, you are aware? Good. And with that, we've come to the end of the engagement. ensure you get back all your original documents, including the ID, confirm that everything is there, and with that, you'll be free to leave. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Chair, I know it has been a long day for all of you, and I'm happy that I was privileged to be the showstopper for the day. Asante sana.